Many utilities are being bought up by Gus for the Bulldogs. Some forwards potentially on the signing horizon. Feeding the homeless. Buzz takes more pot shots at Phil Gould and White Powder. All that and more will be discussed on today's episode of the Kennel NRL Podcast. And our injured but ever-present co-host, Dibbo's here to join us for the episode. Welcome, Dib.
Welcome, everyone. Look, in true rugby league spirit, I've done my Achilles, a full rupture. It's as rugby league as you get. Did you say sherbet fuzz before?
I said white powder, so you can take that however you want.
I'll definitely take that sherbet fuzz any old day.
We've got a cracker for you. But if you are new to the podcast or you have seen us before but you haven't yet subscribed, please just go down there, click the subscribe button, like the video, share it with your friends, share it with your mates. It really helps us. We've got a lot of content coming out, both Bulldogs and NRL related, over the off season. We don't take any breaks. We don't have an off season. We don't have any Mad Monday. Speaking of which, I want to start this podcast by talking about the Bulldogs essentially cancelling Mad Monday and going out to feed the homeless instead. I thought that was a very classy move on the Bulldogs' behalf to see that they've actually decided not to do what other clubs are doing, and they actually went and fed the homeless. And I have to say, kudos to them for making that move. And apparently, it was the players that came to Ciraldo and said that they wanted to do it through their captain, Reid Marnie.
Yeah, look, in the headlines for the right reasons, and obviously they eliminated the risk of being in the headlines for the wrong reasons. And hats go out to you guys. When I say hats, hopefully you get the Kennel hat, basically. So, yeah. But yeah, great initiative. There's only winners in that sort of move. So, kudos to all the players. Yeah,
look, absolutely agreed. And I thought it was fantastic. You see all the players having a yarn with some of the homeless people, preparing cutlery, preparing the food, pouring the food, and just making themselves valuable and useful to the community that they exist in, which is, to be honest, I think it more signifies or typifies who the Bulldogs are becoming as opposed to all the rubbish that's been coming out in the media before. So, look, I think it was a great move. And it made me quite happy to see. But there is something else I want to talk about when it comes to Mad Monday. And this is funny. Look, I know, we don't condone drugs, beer, alcohol, anything like that on this podcast. We're against it. But there was a photo that came out about one of the superstars of the game, Valentine Holmes, holding what appeared to be a satty, a bag in his mouth.
I think it was crushed aspirin for his headache.
Oh, yeah, he must have had a headache after not playing for 4 weeks for being suspended.
Any excuse as I can for him, like sherbet fuzz goes good. Everyone loves that sugar hit, don't they?
Mate, I don't think you'd want to be snorting sherbet fuzz, let me tell you. I just find it funny because he put it up on his Instagram and he came out and he backtracked and he said it was a prank gone wrong with a friend of his.
Yeah, maybe.
Look, which is possible. I think, it's very possible, but I have to, I have to be honest. There were some comments that were left on our Facebook page that I thought were worthy of sharing. Do you think it's something we should be sharing?
Well, I haven't read them yet, but what were they? Let's hear this.
They were quite funny. And but in the meantime, I guess what I want to discuss is, why do most clubs still stick to that age-old tradition of Mad Monday?
I think it was just after a supposedly long and stressful season as a way of letting their hair down, and unfortunately it became the norm, and it was the norm for about 40 years. But I think it's outdated. Mad Mondays. It's just too much of a risk for the players, sponsors, anyone involved. You've seen player contracts torn up, sponsors pull out. It's just too much of a risk. It's something that needs to be axed once and for all. Players can go organise their own barbecues or something like that. None of these silly, alcohol-fueled, party events, and then you get players probably punching each other out. I think a few years back with Canterbury, or more than a few years, I think Adam Elliott was in the nude, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was taking a photo in the nude, and to be honest, it's
he got in the nude. How does that happen?
And there's never a good scenario from Mad Monday. Look, I know they like to have a bit of a laugh, get dressed up and things like that, but I just feel like it's one of those traditions that I think could be done away with for much better alternatives. A bit like the bonding sessions with Origin Rugby League. If you remember, they used to cause a lot of problems and they sort of did away with them and they replaced them with going to the bush and, there are ways I think that you can replace these stupid old traditions with something new. That's my opinion. Look, let us know what you think. Do you think that Mad Monday should stay, or do you think that Mad Monday should make way for something that's a little bit more grounded, a little bit more wholesome? Like, no problem for them to go out and have a bit of a laugh and a bit of fun on their own in sort of the quiet, in the quiet confines of privacy. But for them to come out and always be, doing crazy stuff, I just think we need to move past it as a game. We need to grow up a little bit, What are your thoughts, guys? Let me know in the comments below if you think Mad Monday has it's too much risk in it for it to continue.
It needs to be put to an end once and for all. I mean, some of those costumes are dead set horrendous as well.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But
let the AFL boys do it. They can wear those.
They can
tights,
be stupid. Yeah,
those white tights.
So, and I just want to get back to some of these comments. Like these guys are just. I think it's so much fun. Like one comment on our Facebook page when we were speaking about it was, "That's just pre-workout creatine."
There you go. They're making excuses like the sherbet hot fuzz.
Oh, mate. Another one, and I'm sorry, but I have to say this one. This is funny. He's just supporting Ponga for his final against the Raiders.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, God. Another one. He's preparing washing batter to clean his clothes.
That was a horrible take.
Oh, poor take. Another one, just sugar for his morning coffee.
There you go, mate. Some equal, he takes some away with him.
He enjoys some coffee with his vodka cruiser. Oh, God. Another one, just a packet of equal.
Look, even if it's just a prank.
Even, as a prank, it's just stupid. It's so silly. And look, to be honest, the piss taking, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's funny.
Even if it was a prank, it's not something you want to risk, because look at the dramas now it's given him in his club.
Agreed.
And the game as well. Yeah.
Like one person was like, that's his starter pack for Mad Monday.
Yeah, that's a good take.
Another one, let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe he was baking a cake and that's baking powder. I don't know, man. They're pulling these straws out of their absolute behinds, these ones.
I think the most credible one's the starter pack for Mad Monday.
Yeah, I like that one. Another one, this is hilarious. Maybe Wayne Carey helped him out with his Nurofen.
Yeah, Wayne Carey, remember that excuse?
Oh, my God.
He's been caught a few times.
Oh, man. Another one, send him for a HIA check. Why would he do that on a Mad Monday and put it up on Instagram?
Yeah, maybe.
And then other people are saying it's photoshopped. Why would he put up a photoshopped image of himself on his own silly Instagram? Come on, guys.
Sure, he won't be doing that again.
Come on, guys. It's not photoshopped. But yeah, I mean, check out our Facebook page and our Instagram page. We have some hilarious comments going on these topics. And look, we just want to make light of this situation, because regardless of whatever he's doing or what he does in his private time, players, if you're listening, don't put this stuff up on your Insta. Keep it to you. If you want to do this rubbish, do it away from prying eyes. And we're just trying to have a bit of a laugh, make fun of the situation. But yeah, look, be sure to leave us some of your comments down below on YouTube, and we'll go through them and we'll share some of the best ones on next week's podcast for sure. And go to thekennel.net.au, have a look at some of them, leave some comments and share them with us, and we'll also speak about them here on the podcast. Now, moving on from Mad Monday, I guess we're going to go from Mad Monday to Mad Season of signings at the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. So over the last week, after the awards ceremony that the Bulldogs had, Phil Gould was speaking to a 7 News reporter, and he said that the Dogs in the next few weeks will announce 8 to 9 signings. This comes after the confirmation of a few players having left the Bulldogs.
Yep.
So it's confirmed that Jaden Ockenball's gone to Hull, as has Frank Pele. Alamotti and Burns are not being offered new contracts.
Oh, Alamotti's confirmed, no new contract.
Well, that's the mail that we're getting. There has been no talk of re-signing him. We also know that Carl Flanagan's joined your beloved Dragons.
Yep. He's joining him as the teacher's pet, I think.
Look, to be honest, I think that he has a lot to offer as potentially a 14. I don't want him to be lost to rugby league. I didn't think he had the right playing group around him to help him take advantage and develop as a half. Look, number 7 is the toughest position in the game, especially when you're young. And I still think that he'll be better for the experience. And I hope he does well under his father. His father reckons he can get the best out of him. Look, best of luck. He tried his heart out when he was with us. He copped a lot of flack, and I wish him the best.
I'm sure he loved the club.
I'm 100% sure he did. And Corey Waddell hasn't been offered a new contract yet. I'm not sure that he will. Also, of note, is very interesting. Raymond Fatala-Mariner has officially been granted permission to speak to clubs outside of the Bulldogs.
Here and overseas, I presume.
I mean, look, he might be able to find a gig in the NRL. There is, not many options on the market. So potentially another club looking for a depth forward, they could sign Raymond Fatala-Mariner, but not on anywhere near as much coin.
Yeah, I just don't think he returned the figures or the impact someone befitting his status and pay packet, basically. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
and
he's not going to get what he wants. And
look, to be honest, as club captain of the Bulldogs, on Fox Sports, on NRL 360, Booz Rothfield did out Raymond Fatala-Mariner as the person that was speaking to the media.
So after using him as an informant, he then outed him.
Threw him under the bus. Unbelievable.
Mixed with dogs.
That's what happens to you. Yeah. And he pretty much, confirmed that to James Graham and the rest of the NRL 360 crew, which is quite disappointing. But I think the club, the Bulldogs, were also privy to that. They were smart enough to figure out who the leak was. And look, unfortunately, it can't happen.
Spot on. Yeah.
It's almost, look, for me, it's like treason, right? When you're leaking secrets of the club to media as a club, that's treasonous. And he simply has to go regardless. But I will say, from a family member of Raymond Fatala-Mariner, made an interesting comment that I saw.
Yep.
And this is a serious allegation that I don't genuinely. I'm conflicted, right? I don't know whether to believe this or not. But one of Raymond Fatala-Mariner's relatives has come out on Facebook and said that he went to Cameron Ciraldo and he said that he was representing the Pacific Islander boys and that they weren't happy with the training situation. He said specifically the Pacific Islander boys, he felt they were being targeted.
Uh-huh.
And
could have serious implications.
And Raymond Fatala-Mariner believes that he was hushed and his concerns weren't taken seriously because he is a Pacific Islander. And if it was of a different ethnicity, if he was white or indigenous or what have you, his claims to the coach would have been taken more seriously.
Right.
And this family member believes that there was racism involved as to why Raymond Fatala-Mariner's concerns weren't taken seriously.
Yeah, but racism on whose part though?
On Ciraldo's part, not to listen to Raymond Fatala-Mariner about the Pacific Islander complaints.
I don't think Cam's that sort of guy. Like, I mean, you look at him at Penrith, he's well liked in the game by players of all backgrounds. I don't think Cam Ciraldo, coming from an ethnic background, would be like that, basically.
Why I don't think that makes sense to me, and I'm not going to talk about Cameron Ciraldo because I don't know him personally, right? But I don't know Raymond Fatala-Mariner personally, so I'm not going to assume he's lying.
No, I'm not assuming. Right? I think it's just
miscommunication,
misconception,
whatever you want to say it. But I sort of want to address that point because if you look at, for example, what Cameron Ciraldo did for Viliami Kikau when his father passed away at the beginning of the year, right? Jumped on a plane.
He would have done it for any of his players.
He would have done it for any of his players. At the Panthers, the Pacific Islander boys, the Samoan boys, the Tongan boys, they loved him, right? And he brought the best out in them. So, I mean, I don't want to dismiss the comments being made by Raymond Fatala-Mariner's relative, but it's not being made by Raymond Fatala-Mariner. It may just be an opinion from his family, which sort of also fits in line with some of the reports about Raymond Fatala-Mariner and some members of his family leaking things to the media. So this could be one of those situations that there may be some agendas involved. when they're not happy with what happened with Raymond Fatala-Mariner. Raymond Fatala-Mariner wants to leave. His family's obviously on his side, supporting him. They're making these comments out of anger and obviously out of care for their relative in Raymond. I don't know what the situation is, but I thought it was important. It was interesting when I came across his family member saying this stuff. So make of that what you will. But I also want you guys to sort of make comment, because your input is probably more valuable than mine. What do you guys think? Do you think that maybe there was some element of racism in it? I don't know. Honestly, I don't see it at all. I don't think that this is what's happened, but I'm happy to hear more about it if there is anything out there. Sort of continuing on the signing news, it looks like Gus Gould wants to sign every utility in the game and bring them to the Bulldogs. So obviously,
he needs specialized. He needs players for specialized positions. So he needs like specialty. Specialty players. You need your forwards. Where are they?
Well, basically, what's being reported is that we've already signed Blake Taaffe, Jamin Salmon.
Yeah,
right.
Utilities, yeah,
we've got obviously Critter coming. We've got Bronson Cherry coming. Yep. But then there have been some reports, many reports actually, that Gus is signing Jake Turpin from the Roosters to bring him across
as a hooker, backup hooker.
Well, hear me out, right? Because then they're also saying that Drew Hutchison is a done deal to the Bulldogs from the Roosters as well.
Oh, I think it's all hearsay at the
right.
moment.
But then,
how many utilities do you want?
But then Kurt Mann did his medical for the Bulldogs as well.
Yeah, there you go. It's just all. It doesn't mean he's signed, yeah.
And look, it doesn't mean he's signed, but I mean, I don't know. Do we need that many utilities?
I think they're just keeping their options open.
Is Gus just trying to build a strong top 30 as opposed to
possibly
just the top 17, which is what we need?
Where's your specialty forwards?
Well, breaking news actually, hot off the press, absolutely hot off the press. Mo Fotuaika from the Gold Coast Titans. Apparently, Gus is targeting him as the marquee forward for 2025.
It'll be a big signing.
It'll be a massive signing for us.
He's a rep forward.
He's a great rep forward.
He's not as expensive as other forwards.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, I mean, deserves his good coin,
Agreed.
I think he's just he goes about his work quietly, if anything. He goes about his work with no fanfare. Whereas, if Tana Famasuli steps right, the whole world hears about it. Dave Fafita does a palm, the whole world hears about it.
Yeah.
Fotuaika just turns huge numbers every game.
It bends the line, it gets over the advantage line.
And you barely hear it. I mean, the only way you see it is
when he gets chosen for Queensland.
Yeah, he deservedly gets chosen for Queensland.
Yeah. And look, to be honest, you called it out a few weeks ago about Mo Fotuaika potentially being an option for the Bulldogs. You called it out, and I think well done on calling it out. And look, I think it'll be a big win for the Bulldogs if we can get Mo Fotuaika. And considering that the Gold Coast Titans have re-signed Tino Fa'asumala'awi and David Fafita on Bitcoin, I feel like Mo Fotuaika could be ripe for the picking.
Of course.
And it'll be a great result.
You probably get another front row if you don't sign Luke Thompson, get Jordan McLean in his spot.
Potentially. He's off contract.
Still offers great impact.
Absolutely. He's another one that's off contract for the Bulldogs, so nothing's been made of his future yet. But then another potential signing, another rumor that's come out is that the Bulldogs are looking to sign Alex Seyfarth from the Tigers. Bit of an unsung hero. I know that some Tigers fans were very keen on seeing him retained.
What position does he play?
Prop.
Yeah,
prop.
I feel like he's a big unit. He probably needs to add a few more kilos to his frame.
He would, yes.
And it'd be a lot harder to stop, I reckon. It'd be much more impact from him.
Well, I mean, he could even play as a bench forward rotation.
He's pretty big.
Yeah, it'd be
pretty
good.
Tall.
Yeah, if you have Max King, Alex Seyfarth, you have Mo Fotuaika, you've got Liam Knight, potentially still Luke Thompson. You've got Chris Patolo, you've got Sam Hughes, some of those younger forwards from the Bulldogs starting to make their name in the game. You can see how our forward starts to come together a little bit better than what we've had for a long time. Yep. And I think what the Gus and Ciraldo are trying to do is they're trying to find forwards that can play more than 30 minutes. I think that's been our problem.
Definitely, you need those forwards. Sometimes having forwards play 10, 15 minutes is absolutely pointless, I find.
What's the point of having
do 3 hit-ups for 18 metres?
Yeah.
What's that going to do?
Or if you're aiming Fatala-Mariner, 0 metres in the first half.
Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong there.
Another potential forward signing that has been also rumoured is Pawasa Fa'amasuli from the Dolphins, Redcliffe Dolphins.
I can only see it's good. You're signing a specialty prop. I can only see that he's probably just a squad member. I mean, he was a fringe at St George. He was a fringe at the Roosters. He was fringe at the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he really shows rapid improvement next year. I mean, he's hitting his peak years. How old is he now? 26?
27.
27. He should be in his prime now for a forward entering those years. So he may see significant improvement. But other than that,
it could be a depth signing.
That's what it is. He's just a top 30 player.
It could be a depth signing. And look, to be honest, that's what we lacked this year. That's the truth. That's what we lacked. And if we get these good signings, as well as all the young guys that have had a year under their belts, we're looking much better for 2024. Much, much better. I will say there are some reports about the Eels being interested in Blake Wilson, the winger.
To replace who? Wanga Blake?
Yeah, well, Wanga Blake signed off from the Eels. He's no longer there. So
where's he going?
He's probably going to the UK.
Right, jeez.
So, I would be devastated to lose Wilson. I think...
he's very pacey. You got Casey Blake anyway. Or Declan Casey.
Declan Casey. But, I mean, we've also got Skelton. I thought Skelton's was really good.
Fast. I'll try to retain him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's young. He's fast. He's got that experience under his belt where he was, Ciraldo was playing Fox on the wrong side of the field to accommodate for Wilson. So I don't see the Bulldogs letting Wilson go, and I hope, he's one of those stars of the future because I could see him building into a very good finisher.
I think Fox looked even better on the left side. Just the way he played that last game, he burnt him.
He was
for some
fantastic,
of those tries.
yeah.
I'm starting to think maybe he's a left side player.
I think he's just got class wherever you put him. Yeah. That's the truth. He just needed to find his feet, and the team wasn't playing that well. They were down on confidence, so you can forgive it. But I think next year Fox is in for a big year, especially if we can get that combo between Burton and
spot on
Sexton.
Yep,
I think it'll be great.
Not wrong there.
Some more good news. I want to talk about some of the awards that some of our players won at the Bulldogs Awards night last week.
Wasn't it just one player that won everything?
A couple, right? So Jacob Kiraz won the Coaches Award.
Yep, fair enough.
Fantastic player.
Deservedly.
Played with spinal injury for a good half of the season, a good portion of the season, whereas other players didn't even want to train. Shows you the make of the man. Viliami Kikau won the Community Service Award for the work that he's doing with Fiji Pathways and things like that, which I love. I think it's
huge for
fantastic.
The club.
But I think it's huge for his community as well.
Yep.
And I would love to see some more of those Fijian players come through the pathways, and we see them in 4 or 5 years. Starting in first grade, it would be such a success story. Honestly, it's fantastic. But the man of the evening, the man that we've all been, gushing over at the Bulldogs, the absolute diamond in the rough, Jacob Preston, absolute brilliant and deserved player of the year. So first and foremost, he won the Dr. George Peponis Player of the Year award. Thoroughly deserved. 21-year-olds come in there. Looks like he's been playing first grade in the second row for 10 years. I think future captain of the club, without a shadow of a doubt.
Definitely, yeah.
Very well deserved. He won the Steve Mortimer Rookie of the Year. Again, very well deserved. And I would be disappointed if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year for the whole of the NRL. I mean, the only one that could probably give him a run for his money would probably be Dream Buller.
Oh, look, honestly, I just think...
Or Taruva from the Panthers.
I think it's just Preston.
He was incredible for us.
Standout.
And he won the Members Player of the Year award. So he was voted by the members as a Player of the Year, which, I think is fantastic. Yep. Very well deserved by Jacob Preston. And what a success story. Look, coming into 2024, you can start to see, Jacob Preston, Curtis Moran, Harrison Edwards, some of the new players that we're buying. You could see some of the pieces of the puzzle coming together. If we can get the attitude and the training and the defense right, honestly, who knows what we can do in 2024. 10th or 11th would be success. Anything higher than that in 2024 will be great.
So you just got to build up. You're building up to something. You just got to keep recruiting players.
Got to keep recruiting.
You singled out Fatawaka, so that's a start.
Yeah, it's a great start.
You got Crichton coming next year, so don't forget that.
Massive.
I'll be interested to see how Bronson Sherry's going to go after being out of the game for 4 years. I can't believe he spent 4 years out of the game.
He looks massive though. I mean,
4 years.
He looks massive.
Cut him a plea deal and giving him 2.
But I mean, he looks like he could play forward. He's
so you
that
reckon
big.
he's going to spend another 4 years out of the game? You're saying he's massive?
No. He's been training very hard, and on his Instagram, you see this guy trains 3.
Huge,
he's just
still pacey.
Look, I think he still has the pace, but I don't know if he'll maintain the pace that he had. Like, he's so big now.
He used to be able to change direction without slowing down.
Yeah, he was
That's
very
so
good.
hard and rare to do.
He could become like a very damaging second rower potentially.
Oh, you don't think he would play in the centre?
I don't know. I'm just saying from how big he looks. I don't know if he could, I don't know. Anyway, he looks great. I can't wait to see how he performs for us next year. Another interesting signing, but not a player, or interesting development. So there was photos of Jim and Dimmick going around having lunch with Cameron Ciraldo and Luke Goodwin. Some people suggested it may have just been a friendly lunch because he played with Luke Goodwin and so on. But I think what's interesting is that both Cameron and Luke Goodwin were both in Bulldogs uniform, having a chat to Jim Dimmick.
I think it's just an old mate.
Could be, but I mean, would you want someone like Jim Dimmick coming back to the Bulldogs? A lot of people say yeah. I remember when he left after he didn't get the coaching role when Des Hasler was sacked, and he left in a bit of a half upset that he wasn't offered the full-time role, and we gave it to Dean Pay. I thought I thought he spat the dummy a little bit back then.
Good on him. I mean, I thought he deserved the run. I deserved the chance.
He was very good.
He had a bit of experience. Remember, he took over the team in 2011.
Yeah,
and they only missed out on for and against, if you remember.
He had a good run, but
so I thought he deserved the gig. It was Dean Pay was.
Wait, did he leave in 2011 from the Bulldogs?
Well, he took over after Kevin Moore got made to resign or sacked, whatever it was, and Jim Dimmick took over as a caretaker coach.
Was he there when Hasler? I don't remember. Do you know if he was at the Doggies when Hasler was there?
Yeah, I think he was as an assistant.
And then after Hasler was sacked.
After Hasler was let go, I think he applied, but they didn't give it to him.
Yeah, fair enough. And then he spat the dummy.
He'd been overlooked twice, so I can understand why, especially he gave the club good service as a player and as a caretaker coach. So I thought he deserved his chance. I think he's a capable coach.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't gotten first grade coaching gig yet.
Overlooked for Barrett as well. Jeez.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if he put his hand in.
Who the hell's got a vendetta against him on the board? Jeez, come on, guys, front up.
But I mean, look, could be interesting development for our coaching staff next year. So, and I think with that, I want to sort of talk a little bit about the finals.
Yep, let's go.
What a great finals series so far. It's been very interesting.
Start off with the Melbourne shellacking, which we all loved.
Look, I have to talk straight off the bat. Ryan Pappenhausen's injury was devastating.
Obviously, yeah, that was souring. Obviously, coach has gone down.
Very, very, very sad for Ryan Pappenhausen. It was just so devastating to see him in so much agony after working so hard to come back. The good news is that it wasn't a compound fracture. It's a broken ankle.
Yep.
And they expect him to be training again in the new year.
Oh, fantastic
which is great news. He's still 20, he's 25 years old. I think he still has a lot to offer the game.
Definitely.
I want to see him back at his best because, at one point in 2022, he alone in 4 games had scored more points than the whole Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs team. So he is an excitement machine, and I think Melbourne are a better team with him in it.
Yep.
But it was great to see Broncos break the Melbourne Suncorp Poodoo quite emphatically.
Oh, yeah.
And it was good to see...
Who got man of the match?
I think it was Adam Reynolds.
Oh, okay. Good on him.
But it was good to see also Melbourne not get every call go their way. I thought that was,
Oh, look, they were still offside by about 20 metres, still getting away with being offside for the last 20 years and again in that game.
But they were thoroughly outplayed, and Broncos showed that they are real premiership threats. What I am interested in seeing is can they maintain this, right? How would they go coming up against a Panthers team with with their full complement there? Can the Broncos beat Panthers?
Oh, it'll be interesting.
It'll be very interesting.
The forward battle will be really interesting.
It'll be such a mad game because you know why as well? Like the Panthers against the Warriors were incredible. Nathan Cleary.
Yeah, he was player of the round.
You just can't. What do you say to someone like that? Like this guy, when it comes to club footy, there is no one better. Like this guy could he could win 3 grand finals in a row and be well on his way to being the GOAT. I don't want to put start putting the mock on him, whatever. But if this guy wins 3 grand finals in a row and Panthers continue to be the powerhouse that they are for the next 5-6 years, how do you not put this guy in the same conversation as the Joey Johns and the Thurstons and the Lockies?
I was saying now he's dominant from a young age, like Andrew Johns was. So Johns was dominant from a young age. So is Cleary. I think the way the modern halfback play probably goes back to maybe Ricky Stewart, I reckon, because he came on the scene before Andrew Johns. Yeah, you're right. Just the way he'd throw those, his ball skills are amazing. Ricky had a great he came from a rugby union background. He had a great long passing game, short passing game. He had a good long kicking game, short kicking game. I mean, Ricky would do all these runs in. I think he can attribute it to Ricky Stewart. I know Andrew Johns came in and probably refined it a bit, but I mean, Cleary's got it if anything, Cleary's on that Johns level because he's got a running game. Stewart had a running game, not as much as these guys. But
I know Andrew Johns was the ultimate halfback, and then Thurston came and he was the ultimate halfback. You look at Cleary in club footy.
I think Thurston was more of a running halfback. When it came to long passing game, I think players like Andrew Johns and Cleary shade him. That's my personal opinion anyway. I'm not asking anyone to agree with it. If you don't agree, obviously throw your insults.
Please do.
Seeing someone triggered, but yeah.
But I'm interested to hear from you guys. Where do you guys think Cleary sits at his age compared to some of the greats that have come before? The Thurstons, the Cronks, the Johns, because from what I'm seeing at now, the guy's 25, not even 25 yet.
I'll say it now, Cronk at the same age wasn't in the same discussion.
Oh, I don't think
Thurston,
he was.
You can put him there. Johns definitely. And you got Cleary. Sturlo's from a different era where they played a different style of football. Right, yeah. So, sorry, Sturlo. And he was very dominant from a young age.
He was amazing. But
Mortimer as well was another one.
Oh, Mortimer's. But where do you guys think Cleary could end up at the end of his career? Could he end up being one of, if not the best 7 we've ever seen?
If he keeps the way you're going, he will supersede Andrew Johns.
That's what I'm genuinely, because if you look at short kicking game, long kicking game, running game, passing game, short passing game, every little bit of skill and technicality you need, he has it. I think we'll end up with 7-8 premierships by the end of his career. The only chink in his armor is I feel like he's yet to do it on the big stage in Origin.
He did it 1 or 2 seasons already. He's won a few seasons.
But I don't think
he was a standout in a few seasons. Unfortunately, the other seasons, his teammates didn't rock up.
I don't think he was the dominant half that you saw Andrew Johns at Origin level or Thurston or Cronk Origin level.
Yeah, but Johns had about a 50% success rate at Origin.
I'm not talking about a success rate. I'm saying which game can you point to in Origin?
I think he was the same as Cleary. When he was
forget
on,
the statistics. I'm saying
not stats wise. Just when he was on. When they lost.
Yeah,
I see him and Cleary the similarities.
Which game can you point to, right, where you can say this guy has taken the game by the scruff of the neck and won it for the Blues?
Yeah, probably that game they won. What was it? Was it at that game they demolished him at Western Australia?
But nothing was on the line then.
I think we still got up 2-0.
We were up 1-0. We won that. We won the series.
Game. Cleary had a ball that game, but
he did. But then he had.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There hasn't been a standout game yet, but it will come. How old is he? 25.
Yeah, 24. I think not even 25. And he's already playing 3 premierships.
Jeez.
He's not even in the ripe age for a great half. Like all the halves didn't start proving their mettle.
I hope now they go from next. I hope they win their next 8 series in a row. Just to put him in that discussion with the Thurstons.
Yeah, look, to be honest.
And the Cameron Smiths.
Well, he's already won as many premierships as Thurston.
Yeah, I think Cronk's got, 7, 8? If you include the ones they got asterisks next to.
No, they've got asterisks. I don't count them. Yeah. I think he's got 3 or 4.
He's got 2 of the Roosters, 2 of the
Storm. That's right, yeah, the Roosters ones. I forgot about the Roosters ones.
2 of the Roosters, yeah. I think he's got 2 of the Storm, 3.
The Sydney Sombreros.
Yeah, and the Melbourne Sombreros. Let's not forget they were doing it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. But, interesting from this game, I thought that the Melbourne Storm missed Justin Olam.
He's badly out of form. What's going on?
He was badly out of form, but I think his defense on that edge could have helped them where they scored.
What
3 or 4
triggered it?
tries.
Was he really that bad out of form or something?
He was out of form, but I he's kept him out of form for young Tonopapia, and I thought young Tonopapia missed 2 or 3 very important tackles to let in some Brisbane tries.
Right.
Granted, the Melbourne attack didn't click, but they wouldn't have been as far back on the back foot if they would have had, I think, Justin Olam's hard running potentially and his defense there. But look, I think he'll come in. I think Coates is out. Coates is out.
Meany go into the back line and they get that young Failongo play at fullback?
Failongo could play at fullback, I think, easily. Right. But yet to be seen. And it'll be an interesting game as well because it's going to be against the Roosters.
Roosters are missing about 3 players already again.
But they've shown their mettle. They've shown that they can do it.
I think they're just losing now. They're missing Swaliti, I think, now. And,
so
and Joseph Manu.
Swaliti, Manu, and Billy Smith.
That's
right.
I think they're gone. I think Teddy's just... Anyway, I think they're just missing more than Melbourne now.
Tupou, they're already missing Tupou and...
Yeah, but that's just on top of what they... I think they're now it's just a bridge too far now.
Yeah, I think it might be. I think Melbourne have too much class. I just want to make a comment on Adam Reynolds. I can hear the Rabbitoh supporters' tears a mile away.
Oh, I think the silence is deafening, if anything.
I don't think there's any silence, bro. You can tell.
Silence is deafening. They got no words.
No
words.
And you know what? I thought Adam Reynolds, even at the Rabbitohs, was a great player. He's proving what a great player he is at the Broncos. He's almost like the commander in chief on the field. He's teaching Walsh how to direct the team around. He's bringing that experience to marshal his troops. And can I just say that had Adam Reynolds been at the Rabbitohs this year, they're in the top 4.
They're still playing grand finals. I think Souths are they're just gone back to being irrelevant. They love it when they're irrelevant.
I don't think they're irrelevant. I don't think they're irrelevant.
Silence?
Look, it's good. I can't wait until you know what other silence I'm enjoying? The Eels not being in the finals. This is silence that is music to my ears. This silence.
They're still riding the coattails of upsetting the Panthers.
Oh yeah. We beat them during the season.
That was their grand final.
That was their grand final. It wasn't even the end of the season.
Should have been last year. They play like that. Anyways.
But yeah, look, not having the Rabbitohs there. I mean, I wish the Roosters weren't there. I don't want them to be there. I don't think they deserve to be there. You know what?
They came home with a wet sail, and deservedly so. They pulled off a win in the first week of the finals.
But can I just say the Sharks were horrible?
Oh, they were garbage.
I thought their best player was Nico Hines. I think anybody denying how hard Nico Hines was trying and how much he did.
That left side made plenty of breaks. They just couldn't
ice them. Couldn't ice them. Mulatalo made a few errors. Is it Jaden or Braden that plays for the Sharks?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know and I don't care. And Brayley, all right, granted there was a tough ball that try that he knocked on over the...
it's just protected species, no matter which one it is.
I thought both passes for Hines for the drop goal were horrible.
That's not how you...
Slow.
From your starting hooker.
Slow, not in front of him.
McInnes needs to start.
Look,
I don't care, regardless if he plays lock or not, he should be playing hooker.
I agree.
Starting.
No, I honestly think that Cam McInnes for that game would probably have done a better job for the Sharks in the last 10 minutes than Brayley.
Well, probably, definitely.
Your great mate Satho Dan was having a big cry on Twitter about it, mate.
Yeah, that was lovely, Satho Dan. Oh, mate. I think, I just thought, look, I emphasise with you, mate. It's time they moved them off to Perth to stop letting you down. But it's funny, after that rant, he gained a lot of followers, but I'll tell you now, he'll be renewing his membership next year. Don't you worry about that.
Look, I have to say,
you're allowed to have a rant and still renew your membership.
Yeah, look, 100%. But for me, I felt like not everyone in the Sharks was playing with the urgency that Hines and Connor Tracy were. If only everybody was playing with the same vigor that Hines and Connor Tracy were, they would have blown the Roosters off the park. I just felt like maybe they didn't want it enough. That's what I felt like. They just didn't want it enough.
Poor effort overall.
But I tell you what.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Keep going.
So they've made Fitzy look very...
average, yeah.
Yeah. They came 5th and they got knocked out first week at home ground.
I tell you who looked amazing, though, for the Roosters? Siwa Wong.
Siwa Wong, yeah.
He looked incredible.
Classy player, creates things, eh?
Incredible. Very, very,
He's got a repertoire to his game as well. He's pretty pacey for a big man.
They found a good one there.
Oh, of course.
A young guy. Very, very good. Quickly on the Panthers and the Warriors, I think the Warriors tried hard, but they sorely missed Sean Johnson.
Yeah, look, they had no direction. They were rudderless, I found.
Absolutely.
That right side really suffered without him. Geez, that right side, it just shows, if he's there, I'll tell you now, Dallin Watene-Zelezniak scores at least 2 tries, I reckon, in that game.
Yeah,
they just kept going too sideways without straightening up.
And you find when he's been the commander-in-chief on the field, he's straightening up a lot more. His kicking game has been more effective in finding the grass, in being able to turn the backs around of all the teams. And I think you could tell how much they missed his experience on the field. And I think they'll be much better for him being back. And I honestly think the Knights will put up a good fight, but they won't be able to do anything in Auckland against the Warriors. Up the Wars! That's what I say.
I know it was up the pars according to that. I don't know how the Panthers or the Riff, as what they should be calling themselves. How do you come up with the pars? You are the Riff or the Panthers?
Look,
it's intertwined with your culture. See, the Kiwis got their own culture, and Penrith's known for having its bogan culture where the fans miss half their teeth.
Bro. I love the arrogance.
How many times do the cameras go to their
They
fans?
deserve, bro. Let me tell you something. The Panthers deserve the arrogance that they're showing.
Oh, I agree.
Bro, if you've earned the arrogance, show it. Okay, sure, up the pars. But they were just making a play on words of up the wires. Don't make too much of a big deal out of it. Every time someone at the Panthers says something, they want to help on it. Look, just get over it. You can say up the pars, say whatever you want.
It didn't make sense, though. It's more like the Riff.
Obviously, it didn't make sense, but it was like, it's a bit of a...
It was cringe.
It wasn't, bro. It's a bit of a laugh.
No one found it funny.
What do you guys think? Was it cringe or was it just a bit of a laugh?
It was
Honestly,
cringe.
that wasn't cringe,
I'm like,
bro.
up the pars, come out with something more catchy.
I thought it was a bit funny. I thought it was a play on words, whatever. It doesn't matter, man.
A play on words didn't make sense.
Liam Martin had a great game.
Always has a good game.
Loved him. Fantastic.
Always.
Fantastic. Love him.
How did the crash dummy go? Spencer Leniu.
Bro, crazy eyes? Crazy eye crash dummy? Well, I think he played for 30 minutes. He made like 700 meters. The guy's a machine. The Roosters, let me tell you how they bought a mad one.
No, they increased their sombrero.
They just made it bigger.
I mean, how do you retain your forward that you meant to replace? You buy him to replace the forward you meant to replace it with, and then to re-sign that forward.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with the back. Yeah, meant to replace it.
Yes.
Bloody hell. Like, seriously, guys.
Hey, you know what we should do?
Stop it.
We've got the kennel hats. We should make the kennel sombreros. What do you reckon?
That'll be a good one. Actually, we will come out with some of those.
And I want to just get to the last game of the round, Knights and Raiders. What a game of rugby league at the absolute...
Had everything. To start off with, the crowd was absolutely electric.
Wonderful. Yeah. Still City, Newcastle. I love it. It's so good to see you guys in the finals and selling out freaking McDonald Jones Stadium. How good was it, man? I loved it.
And you know what? Canberra set the tone. They came out that first set. I think they bombed the ball and Newcastle took on its 10. They came out good hit up.
Destroyed them.
I know Newcastle scored first, but then, Canberra showed that. They dominated that first half. Should have been up by about 3 tries. I would have said 4, but I know Gagai bombed the try.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? They were falling away in that second half after the supposed bite. I'm not going to call that a bite. I mean, you want to go stick your forearm in his mouth and choke, basically force it on his face. You're going to get what you're seeking, and that's to get your forearm bitten. He was wearing a mouth guard anyway.
Look, my comment on this is...
Don't go sticking your forearm in his face.
Agreed, but also, Whiten shouldn't have bitten him.
He's got a mouth guard on. Let him go. He was choking him. It's happened to me before.
Look, it's happened to me as well. It's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. But
he has every reason to bite him.
What do you guys think? Was Tyson Gamble being typical disgusting Tyson Gamble?
He just hit the
Jonathan Thurston wannabe? Or was Whiten being a grub and preparing to go to the Rabbitohs by biting on another player?
The first one you answered it, I felt. That was pretty accurate. Anyway, and then, you know what? Everyone thought Canberra was gone because there was the absolute blitz down the right side.
Right. Yeah.
That was a blitz and a half.
How good is Dom Young, man?
Yeah, Ponga when he gets his eye.
Oh, my God. Ponga.
Marju's the beast these days, rightfully so. But when they got that blitz on, then Canberra doing Canberra, that was a great comeback. It's just they had the chance to win the drop goals, but for some reason, Fogarty just knows how to hit a flat drop kick. Whiten should have positioned himself. He's got a big boot.
I agree.
He should have nailed those.
I'm with you.
That's when Whiten should have came in.
But I mean, I loved the intensity from both teams. Neither of them was willing to give up. Like, no matter how tight, you could tell by the 75th minute, both teams were out on their feet.
Hudson Young was...
he stood out. Definitely.
Yeah, Hudson Young, I think he was just fatigued. That's why he was blatantly offside. Look, I know they haven't given offsides for most of the year, but for that one, he was blatantly offside.
Yeah.
And look, I'll fairly call that a penalty in front of the sticks. I was just hoping that game would go for 100 meters. 100 minutes.
I was hoping on it too.
Everyone was complaining that their dinner plans were getting ruined because the game was already cutting on 6:20 and it should have been, finished off half an hour earlier.
And look, to be honest, I'm with you. I said the same thing about that penalty. It's like, if it's so blatant, if the ref has seen it, he's got to call it. There were other instances where he didn't call it in that game, which is, I thought, for both teams, I thought the reffing overall this week honestly wasn't too bad. I expected some clangers.
I love that concept they've come in the final. Was a 5 minute each half, not golden point.
Brilliant.
And after that, it's golden point. Anything goes.
Fantastic.
Love it.
Bro, the hype around that last 10, the extra 10 minutes was incredible.
It used to be 10 minutes a half, I think.
No,
I think 1998 Parramatta vs Canterbury from memory was 10 minutes a half.
Was it an extra 20 minutes?
I think. Oh no, it might have been extra 5. Sorry, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think. But either way, it was a brilliant game. There were no losers. Honestly, I know that the Knights have progressed, but I have to give kudos to the Raiders.
I just brought up a great memory. 98.
Oh, but I want to stick just to this. I have to say kudos to both the Knights and the Raiders for putting on what was, I think, the game of the round. Fantastic rugby league. The Knights,
one of the better games of the year too.
Honestly, the best game of the year. I have to say,
it was hits galore.
They knew it was on the line and they played for it.
100%.
They played for it and no one wanted to give up, no matter how tired and fatigued they were. Like that try by Tom Starling at the end, how they were able to just inch it back in the last few minutes. Like it was hard. I don't support either team, but
great Canberra try.
Beautiful Canberra try. And Canberra Raiders were missing quite a few players as well. Papali'i
was missing.
Corey Horsburgh was missing as well. So that, they did well to do that. I think Ata Mariota was played out of his skin. Joseph Tapere, what an incredible forward. There's
the Pocker Rocket in the back.
Tumako.
Yeah,
played
Timoko,
great.
What a player.
But then on the other side, you had Ponga, incredible, showing us why he had so many raps on him for so long. The forwards, Leo Thompson, and the twins played very, very well.
I thought going to keep him all in the salary cap.
I thought played pretty poorly for the Knights. Honestly, I thought
Hastings,
Gagai played poorly.
He botched that try. He came out with a few good tackles.
And he knocked on a try and let in a try for the Raiders.
He was hot and cold.
Yeah, I don't think he played that well.
He was hot. He set up a few and then he botched that.
Yeah, I don't think he played that well.
It was hot and cold. That was okay. Him and Warner had a good battle.
Yeah, they did. They had a great battle. I do feel sorry for Jackson Hastings again, injured.
Yeah. Is he in doubt or is he going to play?
Honestly, I haven't followed it up.
That'd be nice.
I hope he plays.
They got Ponga. He's absolutely hot. He'll just slot in the halves.
Tyson Gamble, honestly, I have to say, I'm so impressed with the way he's come along this year.
Suits the club, actually.
Redneck, yeah.
No, not in that sense. I mean, he's got a good forward pack. He's got a Basham sort of forward pack,
and he's got that mentality, to take every inch.
He's got the enforcers there, and he's just the guy that, when he's got the enforcers going, he grows 10 feet tall. Reminds you of Starscream and Megatron. Megatron and the Transformers.
But yeah, look, I thought he played well.
Yeah.
It was a great weekend. Quick tips for this weekend: Melbourne and Roosters.
I'll go Melbourne. I think Roosters just copped those 2 HIAs and a broken jaw to Billy Smith. I mean, get well, Billy. But yeah, I think they're just missing too much players now, man. Too many.
I think Melbourne will be too strong.
I think Roosters just missing too many now.
Yeah, so that's true. Melbourne. But I think regardless, I think Melbourne would want to.
Yeah, I'll go Melbourne 26-4. I don't know. Just
that's not bad. I'll say Melbourne 24-12.
I thought you were going to say 40-4.
No, yeah. I think 24-12. I think Roosters will still give a good account of themselves. Warriors Knights.
That's going to be another pearler.
It's going to be a cracking game.
Hopefully, Sean Johnson's back. Look, I think the home crowd advantage should get the Warriors home in a tight one. I'm going to go 26-22.
I want to say 30-22 to the Warriors.
Yeah, they're a close game. And Newcastle got every right to win that game as well.
Oh, look, I don't think that'll be a walkover for the Warriors. But
how much is it in a row for the Knights? 10?
10. It's 10. If they win against Warriors, it'll be 11.
Wow,
Yeah, it's amazing.
Jeez.
Yeah. But I do think that the Warriors at home in Auckland will have too much support, too much groundswell for them to lose. I think it'll be a good match, but the Warriors will come home with a wet sail. I think that's what will happen.
Right.
But I'm very excited for this week. Let us know who you're tipping for the finals. Let us know what you think about the potential signings by the Bulldogs. Let us know anything you want to know about NRL. Please, if you made it to the deep end, be sure to go Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. Share us with your mates. Share us with your friends. Thank you so much for following us. We have massive amount of content coming up. Some really, really cool content coming up. Something a little bit different over the next few months in the off season. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much for your support. Have a great week. If your team is in the finals, good luck. If you support Parramatta, I'm happy they're not in the finals. And if you support the Roosters, I hope you guys lose. Have a great weekend.
So, yes.